Up next on Inside ChampCar, gearing up for a crazy 3 weeks. Welcome to Inside ChampCar. He is
Bill Strong.
And I am Brian Bielanski. This week on the show, a whole lot of racing in 3 weeks. It's ChampCar's busiest 3 weeks of the year. Plus, we'll catch up with a racer who's pulled on the helmet for about 50 ChampCar events. Yes, 50. And our tech tip is one that newbies will really want to tune in for. That's all coming up on the big show this week. Mr. Strong, happy day to you.
Happy to you too, man. It's been a fun weekend. Not trying to stay away from racing for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do because I had to cut down trees and keep,
Yeah, you had a Directio come through the neighborhood, didn't you?
We had something that shot air through through our yard about 100 miles an hour, knocked down trees left and right. And I have found out at almost 60 years of age that I really am out of shape. And just, I can't, I think I'm still like 25, but it's not.
You're not as good as you once was, but you're as good once as you ever was.
Pretty much, yes.
Yes.
You could write a country song about my.
Yeah, that'd be a great lyric for a country song. So the only time I've ever been involved with a Direcio, you and I were neighbors and didn't know it at the time. I was in near the Charlottesville area, and you are near the Charlottesville area.
I am in Nelson County. We were one of the hardest hits in Virginia for the Direcio.
We lost power for 8 days.
Yeah, we were out for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and it was pretty bad. I remember a buddy of mine from Nelson Ledges, he messaged me and said, "Hey, there's a Direcio coming at you." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. What's a Direcio?
What's a Direcio? And, I had to look it up, and straight line winds of over 100 miles an hour or whatever. And he's sending me pictures of semis like tossed over on a highway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, And Bill goes into weather mode, and my wife hates that. And, filling up the tub with water, and she's just looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And then finally she says it's going to dissipate once it goes over the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yeah. Well,
it did until it didn't.
Right, and that is the typical weather pattern. Stuff looks really horrible until it gets to the Blue Ridge, and then it kind of goes blech.
Yeah.
It's a technical weather term, blech.
Yeah. Well, I looked outside, and you could see just this huge line of lightning and blackness, and finally, I'm like, okay, we need to be really careful here, blah, blah, blah. And she goes to take the dog out, and the storm door rips open from her hand. And she's like, nope, not going out there. And it was 3 or 4 hours of pure hell.
Yeah, I mean, I got a text. I was working in television at the time, and I got a text from my weather guy. And it was...
Who were you at Channel 29?
I was at Channel 29, yeah. And it was ominous. It was an ominous text. Don't mess with this one. That was the entire text. And I was like, okay. And we lived right along 64, and we had these ginormous power towers. I'm like, nothing will ever take down one of those towers. Yeah, never say that.
No.
That's why a lot of the area was out, because the tower right by where we lived came down. And I was like, and this is, it was crazy. But anyway.
Well, we had trees falling down everywhere on power lines, and that was taking it out.
Yep.
Yeah, it got so bad that, we were going down to the river, the Piney River, to, swim, AKA bathe. And, most of us knowing, or adults knowing, that just up the road up the stream is a, what do they call those? It's an old titanium plant.
Okay.
And now it's a Superfund site.
Superfund, you don't want to swim there.
No, it's not.
You want to swim upstream of the Superfund, not downstream.
Don't have a choice. But right. But we don't glow, so we're good.
That's good. I don't know.
Yeah, racing though.
And now let's talk about racing.
Yeah, racing.
So I was looking at the schedule, and it kind of struck me that you folks have 6 races scheduled in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Who does that nonsense, dude?
Well, my boss. That's who we blame for everything, is Dana Morrison.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's all right, because I'm actually partially to blame, because I ask for certain places and help negotiate for some places. And Thunder Hill I worked with, and we had no the Sebring one, we were given a date and we kind of had to take it.
Right.
Shannonville, that's our Canadian folks. That's also, we didn't have a choice. CMP, we wanted an earlier date,
Right.
and they gave us one. And Willow Springs, that's usually our June, our weekend. That's around Le Mans.
So, yeah.
Luckily, I'm able to be home for Le Mans, so
Yeah.
it's.
So talk to us just for a minute about the logistics that go into, you guys have not the biggest of staffs in the world.
No, we have,
and to put on three consecutive race weekends has got to be a stretch. But when you put on 6 races in 3 weekends, you guys must be a little crazy, right? I mean, not crazy. I mean, I think you all are a little crazy, but I mean, you crazy busy for that.
The logistics is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's making sure everything gets to where it needs to go to, including people.
Right.
We have 2 event directors,
Okay.
Chelsea and Dana.
Okay.
We're bringing 2 more on that are in training right now. And those folks are actually doing some of the emailings out.
Got it.
And it's, but that's just getting people.
Right,
now we have to get the hardware, because we have a lot of hardware that needs to go to these races. So we have Chris is out in California. She's our equipment manager out there.
Okay.
Kind of semi-retired, but just brings the van, and then we bring the folks. She stores the equipment for us, brings it to the racetrack, and then hangs out with her racers. And then we have Chelsea that also is the equipment person for the Midwest, and she'll take the stuff with her to her races, and then we'll fly people in that will actually set it all up.
Okay. And
then on the East Coast, we have Jimmy with the ambulance that's kind of famous, the ambulance, or they have a nickname for it, and I forget what it was, but and he does the East Coast and some central events as well. So during these multiple events on the day, they will like Chelsea will have her set up, and then the East Coast car will go out to that. And then a lot of times I will actually transport some of the gear as well, in my media van, which this, for the last month is going to be my pickup truck. So diesel.
Yeah. I mean,
I see the price of diesel lately.
I have. So yeah, you will not.
Wait, I got the twitch back again.
Just wait till you come out here, Bill. You're going to love it. Well,
it's actually cheaper than gas, so I'm all right.
Yes,
I saw that.
It is. So, I mean, because a lot of people, I've been involved with putting on events for 20 years now.
Right.
And I don't think everyone really appreciates a lot of times what it takes to do one event, and the balls that have to be kept in the air and everything that you have to remember to bring. And if you forget that one thing, you can be really screwed. But to do it
with our show,
right?
because we do a show,
right.
So it's I have to I've been doing this long enough now. I think we're on year 5 or 6 that I kind of know what I need at each track. And I know that if it's not working, what else do I need to do it?
Exactly.
So, which means you have to carry a lot of gear with you that I haven't probably used in 3 or 4 years, but I need it again.
Right. Well, that's what I have. I have my stuff when I go to the track and do my broadcasts. I have the stuff that I know I need at every race weekend. And then I've got another bin in the car that I pray I never have to open.
Yeah.
That's the oh crap bin. It's got extra cables, extra this, extra that. And if everything's working, that bin never opens, never does anything. But the one time I don't take it with me, I'll need everything in it.
Well, that's why I kind of have guitar centers on speed dial.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that's a good option. That's a good option.
Yeah, I've learned that in a few other places because Radio Shacks don't exist anymore.
I know. Gosh,
but we have a lot of gear that we take. I mean, do we really need it? No, we can put on a race with just a couple of guys and a radio or 2. Hell, we could even use flags to signal each other if we really wanted to. But no, we try to do it professionally and give you guys a good experience out there.
Yeah,
which most of you never see.
Right.
It's like folks talk about how ChampCar, our members don't participate in the community. 90% of them just want to go racing.
Right.
And they show up, they go race, and they had a happy experience or a not so happy experience, but they got on track.
Yeah.
Not. And that's it. They go home, they come back again 6 months later or 2 weeks later.
Right.
3 weeks in a row.
There you go. So you're going to be at Willow in Carolina. Are you going to be at Shannonville?
I will not be at the Canada because I have not. My passport expired right before COVID.
Gotcha.
And it was one of those things. I'll get to it. Well, I've been trying to get to it I've printed out my stuff and took my pictures like 4 times already. And I keep forgetting.
Right.
Don't have time. They don't make it easy anymore.
So we're veering off the road.
Uh-huh.
How many miles are you going to put in this year? And I'm not talking about on the racetrack. Have you ever calculated it?
Yes, actually. Last year I went 3 times around the world. This time I'm already at 1 time. Google actually keeps tabs of all that. So I'm already at 1.
Sorry.
That's right. Let's start that again.
Yeah. So how many miles are you going to do this year?
Well, I don't know exactly how many miles, but last year was like 2.5, 3 times around the world.
Wow.
And this, I got notified already. I'm at, I think I'm very close or at 1 time around already.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a lot, and it just picks up once fall starts.
Do you like driving?
I don't mind it.
Okay.
It's okay. Yeah. It's, there's sometimes you're driving through, Nevada and Utah, and you're like, God, I just took this corner.
I know. So, you should have an Instagram page with like just travel pictures, because that would be awesome.
I did that one time. I took my Spider across country, and I Spider Trek, I called it. It's on some blog thing somewhere. And that was kind of cool. I got a lot of hits because I just took pictures. It was the first time I had a cell phone where you could take pictures and actually post them up.
Yeah.
That was back in 2011.
Cool.
Good
All right.
times.
Anything else we need to tune in on before we hit to the tech tip?
No, I'm just Nelson Legends coming up. We got folks. Well, we already talked about that, or we will already talk about that. I can see the future. But yeah, we have a bunch of 24s coming up July and August, and 2 of them the summer 24s. Visceral Racing is the standing winner of the summer of 24s from a few years ago when we did 3 of them. So he's actually signed up for both, so he's going for that trophy again and the free what do they call that? Chill. Darn it. Here it is.
There's always one portion of every show where Bill can't remember anything he was going to say.
I can't remember. We have a new sponsor on board with ChampCar, and let's see.
Who's the new sponsor?
The new sponsor's drum roll, please. You're not drum rolling. I
can't drum roll from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Chill Out Systems. That's
I'll add the drum roll.
Yeah. One of our new series supporters is Chill Out Systems, and they're giving away a $4,000 cool system that you put in your car, and it doesn't use ice or water, and it's like a little AC unit that pumps stuff through your shirt and keeps you cool. I've used it on Visceral Racing, and it was pretty awesome.
Nice. All right, so it is time, is it not?
It is time.
Tech tip time.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is a good tech tip.
I forget what it was.
Mentorship.
No, I didn't. Yes. The mentorship. So, are you a new team? Are you an old team? Are you in search of a team? Are you kind of lost at what you need to do to get started in ChampCar?
You're describing my life.
Are you kind of lost at where you want to be in ChampCar? If you've already done a few races, if you've done 50 races, you can still be part of the mentor program, not just a mentor, but you could be, there's a lot to learn. We don't know everything. We're not Bill Riley. We're not the Team Riley. We're not the Salins teams. We're just regular guys trying to have fun doing this.
But I will tell you, Bill Riley and the Salins team, they don't know everything either. I bet you they learn something every time they're on the racetrack.
Bill told me he knows everything.
Well, okay, Bill. Let's put Bill aside. When's Bill going to be on the show, by the way?
He's in France right now because they've got some big race. I don't really know what it is, but he's got some big race in France.
These excuses, these I'm in France for this Le Mans thingy,
Le Mans
on the Champs-Élysées, and they're going to eat their stinky cheese, and they're going to drink their fancy wine, and they're going to go for 24 hours.
all Daytona names on it.
I know, Indianapolis. I don't need to go to to Le Mans to drive on Indianapolis. You could do that in ChampCar.
Yeah, just like don't go to Daytona and drive a Le Mans.
Exactly.
Wait,
exactly.
You do now.
I'm just
sorry,
kidding. But no, we do need to get Bill on the show, though.
Yes, we will, and I think he's waiting for me to ask him. So
well, then ask him.
I will. He's been busy. He's been
actually
busy.
When he gets back from Le Mans would be the perfect time.
Actually, yes.
So,
too soon, Bill. Too soon.
No. Probably.
The tech tip. Yeah. So ChampCar has a mentor program,
right?
ChampCar mentor program. It's there to help and nourish new members and teams to be successful in ChampCar long term. The mentor program will match up new members and or teams with experienced mentors that can be the same geographical area and or with specific car knowledge, platform knowledge. So,
cool.
You have some oddball car like a Opel GT and you want to go racing, come to me. I'll tell you, don't do it. That kind of stuff. You have an E30. We have a lot of folks out there that race E30s. And they'll give you the lowdown on what you should and shouldn't do to the car. What's the most important things to play with before you get it on the track. And it's not just about the cars themselves because, we know guys,
right?
Whoever you are, you're going to know how to do this because you're a guy.
Yeah.
But we'll point you in the right direction you might want to do your fueling a little differently than that. Or maybe you're spending money here when you don't really need to. You just need to buy this here.
I love this.
Those kind of mentor.
I love this because back in the day, before ChampCar was even a thing, I went to the racetrack with a Formula V. And I'd never been in a Formula V before. And I got to the track early, so I was like one of the first people to set up my pit. And I didn't realize that at this particular track, there was a bunch of Formula Vs, and they all pitted together. Not where I was pitting.
Right.
So one of the guys walks over on Friday night after I'm all set up and says, no, you can't be here. I'm like, what do you mean I can't be here? And he goes, no, we have a place for you. So all these guys came over and picked up my stuff and helped me move by them. So I had someone to hang out with for the weekend, and it was the best thing that ever happened. Kind of pissed me off for half a second, but then when I realized what was going on, I'm like, this is so cool. And
they probably let you set up just so they could do that.
No, I was there before anybody. I was very eager back in the day.
Oh,
very eager. I was one of those.
I'm still like that. I still like arriving early so I can pick the choice high ground spot.
The fact that you guys are doing something in a formal manner, I think is fantastic, and I think that's something that a lot of series should think about.
And what's cool is that we Troy actually helps run this. Troy from MR2 Biohazard. His schooling is in education, and he's really good at this. He has a really good program set up.
Cool.
He has, you email him, he'll give you an idea of what you're trying to get out of this, and then we'll set you up with folks that have said, hey, we'll help out, and we will. If we don't have anybody listed, we'll actually go out there and look for people.
Right.
We have a University of Dayton team that. In Ohio that had some questions, and I happen to know one of my drivers lives in Dayton, Ohio. So it's like, hey, this guy might be able to point you out and, help you out in these areas. And so we have a good crew. We've set them up with other university teams as well, to kind of guide them and get them going in the right way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is all about. We've seen so many teams come out and just have a really bad experience at this because they really didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And then we never see them again.
Right. Well,
so we want,
and even in a selfish manner, I mean, you guys spend a lot of money from a series standpoint to get someone to show up the first time.
Yes.
It's just like it's really hard to get customers for any business, not just racing.
Yep.
And when you get a customer, you want to retain them because if you don't retain them, you're going to go all that effort to get another new customer. Yep. So what a great way to help retain and get people excited, because if you have a bad first experience, there's a good chance you might not come back for a second experience.
Right. Yeah. And they get there, and one of the things we've always pressed is don't build a car and then come racing. Come either work with us or stand and watch us. We'll get you in for free. Just contact me. I'll get you in. You can take a look and talk to teams and see what they do. Find a team that kind of has the same car that you're looking at racing or that you have, and just talk to them about their experiences. These guys love talking about it. It's great.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you
Wait, car guys like talking about cars? No.
Well, it's not just on the internet.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Anyway.
And you not only are we looking for, teams to, that need help or would like to figure out how to get this done, but we're also looking for mentors,
right?
Guys that can actually go out there and help. And just let Troy know, and you can email mentor, mentor, mentor at champcar.org.
Fantastic.
You can also go to our forum at forum.champcar.org, and we have a whole section on it. We'd love to see you guys out there racing and see what it takes. And it's not just us. A lot of teams get started with us and they find out, well, I do have a few extra bucks that maybe I'll go racing WRL. Yeah. And this is a good start for them to move up to WRL, because it is a move up, because they've got a lot faster cars and a lot more money being spent. So,
and here's one thing I really like is it's not, you have a forum, but it's not necessarily forum based. Because a lot of people don't want to get criticized by putting something on a forum and people tell them they're stupid. And that happens on forums, believe it or not.
I don't like that. And that's something that I've run forums. I actually owned and ran the MR2 OC for 15 years, 13, 14, 15 years, something like that, forever. And that was one thing that I really despised, was new people coming on and just getting trashed by the people that have been there forever.
Right. So
and it's like, stop.
Right. So the nice part about your program is that you can do it without being on a forum. You can write that email to mentor@champcar.org and skip the forum process, so you can ask all your dumb questions, which, by the way, there are no dumb questions.
There are no dumb questions.
Without having to worry about being ridiculed, because you've got a place to ask those questions. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and we'll let you know who the trolls are, because we do have trolls. And we'll let you say, hey, just be careful what this guy says or whatever.
All
or
good.
Girl or guy or whatever.
All right, my friend. Anything else before we head to break? Because we got a great interview coming up.
Yes, we do.
We caught up with Justin and Justin Garvin, and he has got a wealth of knowledge, a boatload of ChampCar races under his belt, and really just a great guy to talk to. So I'm looking forward to letting everybody hear that, because that was a great conversation.
Yes. And there is some Mazda NC drama, so you want to stay tuned.
I learned something. It was great. I mean, that's not surprising, because I don't know anything, but I learned something, which was awesome. So, all right, we will get with that when we come back on Inside ChampCar. Justin Garvin's our guest. You will not want to miss this. This is Inside ChampCar on the Racing Wire Podcast Network.
Every race weekend, you don't know what's going to happen. But with ChampCar.live, all the action comes right into your living room. The ChampCar Endurance Series is North America's home to real competitive endurance road racing. And ChampCar.live brings you live, full race coverage with in-car, trackside cameras, interviews, and expert commentary. And ChampCar.live brings you live, full race coverage with in-car and trackside cameras, interviews, and expert commentary. Check out ChampCar.live on the web, subscribe, and ring the bell so as not to miss a single minute of the action. It's fun, free, informative, and it's just a click away. ChampCar.live. Come check us out. We bring you a front row seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Welcome back to Inside ChampCar. I'm Brian Bielanski. He's
Bill Strong.
And we are getting ready to sit down here to chat with Justin Garvin. He is a motorcycle racer turned ChampCar aficionado. Justin, welcome. How are you?
I'm really good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. So Justin's with us today. You've got a pretty cool racing resume here. We'll get to the ChampCar stuff, which is...
Wow, wait.
Wait, what?
It's only on two wheels, man. There's no four-wheel racing there. It's all two-wheel stuff. How do you race on two wheels?
50 ChampCar races is not nothing.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's later on.
I said we're going to get to that in a second, but I want to talk about motorcycles for a second.
Oh, God, motorcycles. You like my friend Troy Truglio and his motorcycles.
Well, I mean, we don't have to talk about it a lot. First of all, I always like to ask the question, what got you, stuck with the gearhead bug? How did it all start for you?
I remember when I was, I think, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 years old. Some neighbors some friends had a dirt bike, and they let me get on the thing, and I didn't know how to operate a clutch or whatever, and I did the whole whiskey throttle thing. But I mean, holy smokes, I was hooked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I didn't even own a motorcycle until I was 18. Finally, when I was 18, out of the house, I could do my own thing. Immediately, I went and bought a motorcycle, and I mean, I think I crashed it the first week, but man, I was just hooked. And then my brother introduced me to some friends that he met, that they went riding on the weekends and stuff like that. And then the next thing I know, they're telling me they're going to go racing. And this is back in like 1995 at Moroso, of all places. Which was PBIR.
Mm-hmm.
And so my very first race was Moroso in 1995. And man, I tell you, racing, just the whole competitive thing has been in me ever since.
Now, where was your mom through all this? Because my mother would have been just like, no bikes. Well, she actually did. No bikes, no motorcycles. They'll kill you. If you look at them, they'll kill you. Where was your mother involved in all this?
My mom and I, we didn't have the best relationship back then. We have actually just in this last year have really come together and had a much better relationship after all these years. But, we just, we didn't have a really good relationship.
Right. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Which honestly, interestingly enough, I realize now I've been doing a lot of soul searching lately and stuff like that, which has helped me bring me closer to my mom and stuff like that. I realized through all that racing motorcycles and then literally living on the edge was just me just not happy with my life, not happy with myself, and just made me the crazy racer that I was, whether you call it a death wish or something, I don't even know. Right. But I mean, literally, man, just craziness. But I mean, I was really good. I mean, I won Daytona in 1999, was the national champion with Championship Cup Series, and then went on to race AMA Pro Thunder in 2000. Had a great time doing that. I mean, literally just went all over the United States racing, Ducatis and stuff like that. And then the next year went into AMA Superbike and Super Sport with 600cc and 750 and stuff like that. But then my brother passed away in 2008. And I also just was racking up debt racing motorcycles and stuff like that. And so I literally had to take a break, and it was a good thing. Everything just kind of happened just the way it needed to happen, because with the economy crashing and all that stuff, I found Dave Ramsey on the radio, who's all about living debt free and stuff like that. It just, now I had this plan. I just had to implement it. And so then I did. And then 2009, started doing his deal. My boss coincidentally said, hey, you want to go to Alabama and work unlimited overtime for 6 months? And so I did. I went, off to Alabama and worked 6 months, came back, paid off that debt, bought this first little house in Brooksville, lived debt free for a couple of years, bought a couple of houses, flipped them, bought a couple more, had rental properties, and then just really set myself up financially. And then, a buddy of mine sent me this video link on YouTube in 2014. It was a video of ChampCar at Daytona. It was just, there were so many cars. They were like literally bumper to bumper. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't get it, but because I was in the whole motorcycle mentality. But then he went and bought. No, that's right. I got onto the Champ forum and I realized you could just go race with no specific license, nothing like that. And there were people that would rent out seat time and stuff like that. And so I rented a seat time with Elon, he had just welded the diff and it was raining like crazy at VIR. So not a great experience. And I said, okay, you know what? I need to build my own car so that I can make something that, it's exactly the way that I would want it. And I spend all the time knowing that, I put it together so that it will last and stuff like that, which is the reason why my car hasn't been on the track in the last year and a half, because it's not perfect yet.
Right. Yeah. So Justin must have watched a couple of podcasts, Bill, because he went right to I didn't have to ask them, now, how did you get the ChampCar part? Where'd you discover ChampCar? You went through it. I didn't even need to ask the question. So this is fantastic.
They're listening to it. I tell you, it's all because of you, man. It's all because of you.
So after doing all the professional motorcycle stuff, because I've worked a lot of motorcycle races, they put on a really good show, very professional programs. When you first got to ChampCar, and now, I mean, what is it that keeps you coming back for ChampCar races?
You know what the thing is so in 2002, after crashing big time and AMA, Superbike, stuff like that, in 2002, I discovered endurance racing with a National Endurance Series.
Yep.
And with motorcycles. And prior to that, it was all about me. And then when I went and did this endurance thing with teams, I mean, even racing against the other teams, we were all like one big family. I mean, if you had a problem, they were there to help you and vice versa. So it was so much camaraderie that I really, really loved it. And I did that all the way up until 2007. And so the 2014 thing, getting into ChampCar, I could see how it was the same deal. I mean, first of all, you have your team of guys that you have this camaraderie with, but then you have these other guys, which at the time, was like Bill Strong was out there racing, with his MR2 and stuff like that. And I was like, man, someday I want to be that guy.
Wait, somebody once said someday I want to be Bill Strong.
Well,
he wants to be like Bill Strong.
This is a first for Inside ChampCar, might be a last also, but you know what? I could think of worse people to emulate. Maybe a couple.
Sure.
Yeah, Troy Trulio. I mean, he's really short.
Yeah, so Troy and I raced together with Ron's team last year at Nelson and finished first, second, and the two 944s, and I mean, it was so awesome. Actually, because Troy and I think we had talked on the phone before. Actually, coincidentally, you had told me about putting a 2GR maybe in a Supra, and so I talked to Troy about it and whatnot, and so that was over the phone, and we had probably talked for like an hour. So then to finally meet him and race with him and Ron's cars, it was really a cool experience. And then of course winning first and second and literally crossing over the line. I don't know if you remember that picture, but the two cars finishing first and second, like the whole what was it, Le Mans style, crossing together. That's pretty cool experience, He
kept yelling at me, get the picture.
For sure.
Yeah. So speaking of 2GRs in the Celica, I gave Troy a 2GR Saturday, so he's got the darn thing halfway apart and almost in the car already. So fun stuff.
I'm interested to see what he's going to do about that. I mean, him and I had extensive talks about that, but I mean, he's been building an NC Miata. I've been building an NC Miata. So I'm kind of excited about that platform, but I'm really excited about the No Z and Mazda platform because just this last weekend at Watkins, I was racing with Sparrow Speed. We finished fourth. No Z and Mazda finished second, and I think that platform, there's a lot more to it, and I think that thing could really be pushed to the point where finally ChampCar changes more rules to where that
what is that anyway? What is it?
Well, that was gonna be my question. Yeah,
it's a 2-liter. It's a NC Miata 2-liter engine, which is all aluminum, in an NA Miata chassis. I saw them at Mid Ohio. Well, we raced against them last year at Nelson Ledges, but then I went over and talked to them at Mid Ohio, and it's got that poke up through the roof or the hood because of the engine sitting a little bit higher. And I have that same platform in my NA as well. I've done it recently. And it's going to have like a little bubble on my hood. I don't know what he's done with his exactly. I remember, minorly looking underneath the hood, but not much at Mid Ohio. So now that I have done it myself, if I looked at his, I could definitely see where the differences between his and mine are. But anyway,
but it's an NC with a 2-liter.
Well, so it's an NC 2-liter, all aluminum 2-liter in an NA.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah. So for those who don't know the terminology, what's an NC and what's an NA?
Okay, so the way that Mazda works things is the NA was the first one, the A is the first one, NB was the second rendition, the NC is the third, and so there was NA, and then which was a 1.6, and then they did the later NA, which was a 1.8, then they did the NB, then they did an NB2, and then they did the NC, and then the NC2. So just slight revisions on those platforms, but so that's what it boils down to. So when the NC came out, not necessarily Ford and Mazda have their little thing together. And so the NC engine is the 2-liter version of the Duratec slash.
So it's the Ford Focus motor.
Yeah, basically. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Or no,
it is. It is. Yeah. Same thing. So I'm drawing a blank right now. Duratec and
is it the Eco?
No.
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 The Duratec is that. Because my son has the 2.3 in his Mazda 3.
MZR, yes.
MZR
and Duratec is the same thing. Yeah.
Cool.
So all the parts bolt up. So I mean, literally, you could take a 2-liter, a 2.3, a 2.5, and all the parts basically bolts right up and make it to where you can kind of interchange the parts and stuff like that. Nice. So yeah.
The cool thing is those 2.5s are like $150 everywhere. I mean, they're super cheap.
I told you that. I mean, I bought 5 of them for $700, and I mean, the thing about it though, come to find out after talking to Grant and some other people, that it's similar to the Ecotec, the 2.4 Ecotec, that the stroke length is just a bit too long. So it's just not really good for revving. So the sweet spot with the Ecotec is the 2.2. It has the proper stroke length, and then the 2.3 for the MCR or the Duratec has that sweet spot for the stroke length, so you can get good RPM while still having good torque.
Got it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking here, and 50 or so ChampCar races. I'm 5 24 hours at VIR, a couple of 24 hours at Nelson. Obviously Road Atlanta because that's closer to you guys. Daytona's. You got lots of seat time in ChampCar, and I don't know, Bill. Is this kind of the higher end of the folks who done ChampCar? There's a lot of races.
I would say, yeah. I mean, he's in the top quarter of racers. The majority of them do 1 or 2 races a year, maybe 3 or 4. But Justin's done an absolute ton of racing with us, which is pretty awesome.
It is.
Now, not only with racing, but you also build stuff. I was looking at your YouTube channel, and you've got some really cool trikes on there.
Oh,
that's you taking car like you have one that's a Honda Silverwing with a Miata front end on it, so it's a reverse trike. Yep. And then the Geo Metro with a Suzuki Intruder trike. That was kind of cool. So what got you into doing little projects like that?
Well, so back in the day when I was trying to fix my financial life in Florida, when you ride a motorcycle, you don't have to technically have insurance, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was having to, these are back in the Obama days when fuel was $4 a gallon. We were like, oh my God, $4 a gallon.
Yeah.
Would we ever known, $4.75 was coming? But anyway, so I was trying to figure out a way to get my son to school and stuff like that safely versus just getting on my motorcycle. So I was, building different stuff. And so that's kind of what got me into Miatas. I found a Miata that was dead and I bought it cheap and I parted it out and basically got the whole front suspension for free out of it, plus made money on the rest of the car. And then took that Silverwing scooter, which is a 600cc, and built that trike, which ended up being pretty cool. I mean, it's got 177,000 views on that YouTube thing, whatever. But anyway, so that's kind of what got me into that whole deal. And then, of course, I wanted to have a Canadian T-Rex, which is a reverse trike, but they were like $65,000. Right. And so I built my own version of a T-Rex. Well, coincidentally, now I have a T-Rex and I never even use it. I mean, literally, it's been in parts since 2014. So, yeah, but
yeah, but I mean, that kind of fabrication, that kind of transitions over to ChampCar, where you do have to learn how to fabricate stuff.
It really does. I mean, I think that kind of gives me a little bit of a competitive edge. It drives my wife crazy because, you know what I mean? It's something that's always on my mind and whatnot. But I mean, the cool thing, coincidentally, that I just saw earlier about aerodynamics on the front of the car is this considered part of your air dam when you have the, I don't know what they're called, the little things at the front
spats,
of your, spats, exactly. And so with my Lexus, with the Castrol Prefect Lexus, I took and cut the bottom part of the rear bumper off and put it on the front to add in as a splitter air dam type thing to keep the air out from underneath the car and whatnot. And then Mac has just developed that car. Actually, all the guys have. I mean, Drew, he's done a lot with electrics lately. I mean, he's put in the PDM and stuff like that, which if you recall at Watkins, we were push starting that car. You remember them? We were
I said that a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's because the PDM wasn't allowing it to happen. Just something about that PDM. My buddies down here in Florida, they had that same problem with their Miata, and we just ended up going around the PDM and just wiring in a push button just for the weekend or whatever. So anyway, I mean, it sucks for the Castro guys because for the prefab guys, sorry, because they obviously Saturday they finished third overall with us push starting the car for that final stint.
Right.
And then of course, Sunday they were doing so well. And there's something going on with the car to where it stalled during a yellow flag while Drew was driving it. And of course, being that the starter's not working, he had to get towed in. They were leading the race when that happened, so
I posted up a picture. I posted up a picture this morning on the ChampCar Facebook page with you right behind the Salence Porsche. And and it was a pretty awesome. Actually, it was awesome watching it in person because you guys were just right on their tail. It was back and forth between the two of you guys until that yellow flag hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, technically they're still my buddies. I mean, the whole story with that deal. I mean, I built that car here in Florida. The guys came over and helped me build it, whatever. And I was racing with those guys for the first couple of years. But I felt that the Lexus had finally hit its plateau and it wasn't going to get any better. And I had forgotten about the fact that we haven't really fine-tuned the suspension. When I put it on the dyno originally, I just did conservative things on the timing and whatnot, ignition timing. And so last year, I was with those guys, helping them showing them how to adjust the ignition timing and whatnot. And then their buddy said, "Hey, do this, do this, do this," and the car just woke up, and I was like, "Wow." I guess I left the car a little too soon, but I really wanted to go focus on the Miata thing because I really love Miatas. I mean, they're incredible race cars. But honestly, the Lexus is like a big Miata. I mean, it handles so amazing. It literally has the same kind of suspension components as say like an NC and stuff like that. And so I mean, it was way before its time. The SC300 is. I mean, it's essentially a Supra. Right. So anyway, it's a really good car, and I'm really happy for those guys that they've continued on that platform and really brought it to the forefront of what it is today.
So back to the Miata. What was your take on the drama last year with the NC Miatas?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was one of the person that was talking, that whole situation to where Grant's car. First of all, Grant's an incredible driver, and Kevin Smith's an incredible driver, and they both are incredible builders. So there's been NC cars out there that have not done anything, nothing. I mean, and they finish races, but they just don't do well. And so for them to really just take the NC and give a new points valuation just because of Grant's car, to me that was absurd. I mean, and then they said, well, it's just too new, or there's the possibility of too new a car. I mean, it's like, well, there's a 2009 Honda Odyssey out there. It's newer than Grant's car. Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to try and tell me that you're going to drive the points up for a Honda Odyssey, So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get too political about the situation, but I mean, there's a lot of board members that, race, and they want their BMWs to stay competitive and whatnot. Sorry, Chris. But I raced Chris's car a few years ago. I wrecked Chris's car a couple of years ago. So the wheel fell off and stuff like that. But
I just blame the builder. That's what my guys always did. They just blame the builder. It wasn't their lack of skill. It was me.
Nah, Chris is a great guy, and I mean, they have built some awesome quality cars and stuff like that. But I thought that whole deal with the NC, because first of all, let's face it, the NC has a small gas tank, and so it's always going to be a disadvantage when you have to do 5-minute fuel stops. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you go into a series like that other one that starts with a W,
WRL, we say it, yeah. RJ, those guys are all friends of ours. We talk to them actually all the time. Today,
yeah. I mean, they pitted next to us last year. 2 years ago at AMP, and we're trying to convince us with the Lexus to come race, and we're just like, no, we like it here, we're good. But I did go race with AOA last year for the 24-hour race at Sebring, and had a good time. In fact, I was building my car to do WRL, and I entered for next month for the Road Atlanta race. And I mean, I literally got on and entered right at 1 o'clock when their registration opened. And at 1:04, when I completed, it says I'm waitlisted. And there was all these other people. And so I literally just emailed them last night and said, look, just cancel my thing. I'll just keep doing what I've been doing because, it's ridiculous. I mean, I did tell them that, hey, I'm really happy for you all that you're doing so well, because I remember when they used to have 14 cars would show up to a race, and now, I mean, it's really turned into a big thing. Ironically, this whole thing with ChampCar, 2018, I think it was 17, maybe. It was 17. I went to Mike at Road Atlanta. I said, look, if we can just change the name of the organization, I think we'll be better off, all of us, getting sponsors and bring the ChampCar to the forefront of, of like this thing that people will really get involved in. And then ironically, at VIR was when he announced the new name. And I was like, I don't think
we had known about it for quite a while, because we started working on ChampCar in December or November. And it was actually it was before that. It was like we were at the VIR 24 and 16, and Mike called me up, and because we had actually discussed changing it to ChampCar at one point. We couldn't because of the trademark. They still owned it. IndyCar still owned it.
Sure.
And I said, no, we can't. And he goes, look again. Because you had to wait, because we were on really slow internet out there, VIR. Right. So, but it popped up and I said, "Oh crap! It's still available. It's available now." And basically, it's like, get the lawyers, and that's what we did the next couple of days, and we got it. But yeah, you're right. It just changed everything overnight.
It really did. I mean, I noticed right away, boom, AutoZone came on and stuff like that, and I had hoped that other things would happen sooner, because I mean, we raced last year for that 24 with WRL, and I mean, hell, we're racing against Invisiglass with their Aston Martins and stuff like that, and I mean, there's a bunch of things like that out there, and I really hope that ChampCar can evolve to that, because I mean, ChampCar is competitive, but I mean, the best group of people. I mean, I miss Mike and Andrea, but dude, I tell you what, I love everybody that's on board right now. I mean, except for, Bill. This guy, Bill Strong.
Yeah. But I try to create the story.
Yes, we know. We're aware, Bill. So,
hey, Bill. After Road Atlanta, when I did that whole come across start finish sideways, and I don't know. I always had in my mind that it's you on the live broadcast, because you have that raspy voice and stuff like that. Oh man, that's pretty funny. Good stuff. And then anyway, but what were you about to say, Brian? I
was just gonna say I'm looking at your YouTube channel and 185,000 views on your reverse trike project. So do you enjoy the building more or the driving more? Because I know when I got started, I was your classic, buy a part, swap a part race car builder. I didn't build anything. I bought parts and slapped them on a car. And then I had an opportunity for a couple of years to keep my car at an actual working race shop where I had all the fun stuff to play with. And I remember the first day I built, and you're going to laugh at me because it's not a big deal. I built a switch panel. I fabricated a switch panel, and I was hooked. I loved making things to the point now where I love to drive, and I'll get in the car any second I can, but I almost enjoy the building more than I enjoy the driving.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you there. Talking about that switch panel thing, it's almost like my wife and I were flipping houses years ago and stuff like that. And when you buy something that just been neglected for so long, and then when you get done trimming the trees and mowing the lawn, you're like, wow, what a masterpiece, right? That's that whole thing with that switch panel. You're like, man, look at that. That's something impressive. But I mean, with the whole building thing, I mean, it's a love-hate relationship, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I mean, because I know what I've got to do. And so rather than spending time looking at it, I'll look at it for a good bit of time while I'm at the shop during the day. And then I was like, you know what, there's things that I can just bolt on right now and get done right away.
Right.
And then at night when I'm sipping my rum and Coke at the house, whatever, and while I'm pretending to watch this movie with the wife, I'm actually thinking about, okay, how am I going to implement this? So, yeah.
We all do that, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's a sickness, and it doesn't go away, but
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So what's up next for you with ChampCar? What's your next race? What's the rest of this year look like for you?
Man, ironically, Holly and I were just talking about that last night, with this whole thing with WRL. I mean, I basically canceled them off my schedule for the rest of the year because I'm just not going to. I told them in my email, I'm like, look, I can't wait until the last second to let people know whether we are or are not going to this race, because if we're not, we're going to go to this other race the next weekend with ChampCar, or maybe even the same weekend with ChampCar or whatever. So that really changed things up for me for the rest of the year. But I'm dedicated to Visceral for the next 3 races. I'm racing with them at Carolina Motorsports Park, at Nelson next month, and then at the VIR 24-hour. So I'm hoping that we can win the summer of 24s or whatever. I mean, that would be really, really cool. Ron brings a great car to the track, and his son is awesome, and his wife's awesome. And you know what? I'm gonna go out there. I mean, I preach this all the time and tell people this all the time. Look, this is a long race. Let's just take it 2 hours at a time, but let's not kill the car. It's got to finish the 24 hours. And then last year, for the 24, I'm not saying it was my fault. It definitely wasn't my fault. The steering came loose in my hands at the 24. But you know what? I'm going to stay off the curbs. I'm going to, I mean, if you're a second and a half slower per lap, so be it or whatever, but to make it to where you're bringing it in for the next guy to get out there for his stint and whatnot.
Wait a second. You had control of the car with the steering wheel, right?
Yeah.
So it was your fault.
Yeah. No.
No.
Ron already confirmed that it was the accident. Believe it or not, two races prior, but prior to Nelson, because I remember at Nelson there was just like a little extra play in the steering wheel, and I just thought this is the first time I've raced the 944, so I'm thinking that's just it. And so yeah, so they have that. What is it? The trailing arm suspension in the rear.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, these cars they're that older technology. So then of course I raced with the NLS at VIR North at the end of the year last year, and the car felt very well planted and whatnot. Unfortunately, they had lost the motor the day before, if you recall, and then they put that junkyard motor in from that car that was sitting on the trailer that was only running on 5 cylinders. So that's what I got to drive the next day. And it felt pretty good. Of course, maybe with more power, it would have been a different situation. But I realize now, because here's the thing, I've been racing with Rotary Rocketeers this year for 3 races. And I was just thinking about this earlier. It has a trailing arm rear suspension, kind of the same thing. The Porsche 944, the 300Z, and the RX-7 of that time all had trailing arm suspension, all the same kind of shape, length, all that stuff. But the difference being that Mike's son, Jeremy Lowe, is a drifter. And I'm wondering about his setup, because being that he's a drifter, I wonder if he has it more set up as his drift setup. Right. And I mean, I'm not saying that it handles bad, but it definitely is not a Miata. And I want to say for sure that the 300Z of the NLS team handled better than even the Rotary Rocketeer car and of Ron's car. But of course, Ron's car, I drove it both times with the steering loose, because of the collision that they had at Watkins Glen, I think it was, or whatever. Ron hit the wall, something like that. So, so I'm really anxious to get in that car now to see if the steering is real tight. Because I mean, when you when you drift, you kind of go the wrong way and then go the right way while you're stabbing the gas, right? And you can do that very, very well in that car. And the same thing for the Rotary Rocketeer's car, because his car is set up by a drifter, right? But the 300Z car, it didn't have the power to do the whole drifting thing. So you had to be smooth and really steer it where you wanted to, almost like a Miata. So I'm really curious to see how Ron's car is going to be for this next event.
It'll be interesting because I've driven Ron's car at the VIR 24, and it felt so much like normally aspirated MR2, just a lot faster, just not torqueier, not as torquey as my MR2 because of the V6 versus his. His just had a lot more power down the straightaway, and you didn't realize how fast you were going until you look down. It's like, whoa, RPM wise. But the car handles very much like an MR2. Now, when I drove it, I didn't really drive it hard because I don't want to be that guy, because you guys would never let me live it down if I stuffed it somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
But plus it looks bad. Bill Strong. They were in the lead and Bill wrecked it. We weren't in the lead, but it was just one of those things. But yeah, cool.
All right, Bill. Anything? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I was trying to set up this thing when we thought that PBIR was going to be the last event for PBIR, and I had talked to Andrew, Jackie's husband, and stuff like that. I was trying to set something up to where we could get all you Champ staff into like a mini race, even though it was just a 15-minute race over the lunch break at PBIR, and like we could set it up to where some of us racers let you borrow our cars, and because if it was truly going to be the last event at PBIR, dude, I really wanted you guys to have that, under your belt and stuff like that. But when it came down to the race, my car still wasn't done, so I couldn't be the one being like, "Let's do this," even though I don't have a car to give someone to race. Let's do this, So, so I really hope we get a chance to do PBIR again.
We've talked about this over the years. I mean, there's a few of us that actually race, and there's the other half that don't, and there's some that don't even want to. They like what they do with us, But I know we're going to try something. Dana and I actually had a meeting this morning, and we talked about something at an upcoming race that we might try to do with the help of a team, mainly on a practice day. Because we've talked about this, about getting out there with the racers. Problem with that is if something happens and we screw up a race, we screwed up a race, and that's kind of against our rules. That we had a time in ChampCar that, if you don't remember this, you probably before your time, but there was a station wagon that would, especially out west, that would take people in the car during a live race, like media people in the car during the race. And it was, we out here on the East Coast are like, what? And that was one of the things we got rid of, because that's just, what if, that takes out the leader, or what ruins somebody's weekend. And we don't mess. That's like with my cameras. You've seen our cameras that we use for the show that, that everybody thinks makes them crash, but or break.
only Ron's cars.
Yeah. But we've made it. We've said that we would never interfere with the car, because we've seen some of your guys' wiring, but it would be a self-contained system so that we didn't screw up the race. And that goes back to the regular part of us racing, is that we don't want to end up messing up a race.
Right.
Yeah. That actually sucked about the Ozarks race, because that BMW, I forget which one it was. If you recall, I was saying during the broadcast, that was the best feed, and they crashed out there. And it's
the RVA graphics.
No, it was RVA graphics.
Oh, was it?
No, I forget who it was. But they were running very well. They were up in the top 5 or whatever, and it was the best of the video feeds. And he crashed out, I think it was an hour or two before the end of the race. It sucked, because it was the one that was actually working halfway decent,
Yeah.
So
probably wasn't one of my cameras, so that's probably why.
No, it was. It was one of yours. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
There's always that one.
Anything else before we head out, Bill?
No, that's it. I mean, I wanted to get somebody on here that was a normal guy racing. And then I find out he's not really a normal guy.
No, he's
weird. He drives motorcycles.
Nothing wrong. It's not weird.
I appreciate you guys having me on. This was really cool, really fun.
Yeah.
Hey, hit up the prefect guys. I mean, they're all amazing guys. And I tell you, I really, that was another thing. I really wanted them to all get more experience. Mache is an amazing racer. I mean, as you know, I mean, he races anything and he makes it go fast. And I wanted the other guys to get more experience. And I tell you, Carl was really coming a long way as I was wrapping up with those guys. And then Drew, I mean, geez, at Watkins Glen, man, on Saturday, he got down to a 22 out, which I think is 10 seconds faster than he did the last time he was there. And then boom, Sunday, he did a 2:18. He went even 4 seconds faster. So those guys are really doing well. And I think that if they keep practicing, they're going to definitely be winning races soon.
Cool. All right, so if you want to see Justin's YouTube channel, just do a search for Justin Garvin. It popped right up, right at the top there. Some really cool stuff on there. Justin, thanks for taking the time out. I appreciate it, and we'll have to catch up with you more in the future because this was a fun conversation.
Yeah, but when you go to his YouTube channel, don't look up the I think it was, what car were you driving? Something else that kind of went into turn 5 at Road Atlanta just with a little too much authority.
Oh, you're talking about with the Acura? Yeah, that was
Acura.
2015. Yeah. Well,
we've all been there. We've been there.
Yeah, that I was that was my notoriety in You Suck at Racing whatever.com or something like that. So yeah, that was back then. Yep.
I like the comments in it too. That was pretty awesome. You really suck at this, man.
yeah. And people are like, "Oh man, you need to learn to toe heel or whatever." I'm like, well, "That's funny,
heel toe."
Yeah, heel toe. That's funny because I'm going faster than all of you. But
no kidding.
But you know what? Honestly, heel toe though. I mean, I learned that a couple of years ago at AMP, and immediately dropped a second and a half just because you don't have to wait for the back end to settle down and going into turn 1. So it made a big difference. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Justin Garvin, thanks a lot. When we come back on Inside ChampCar, we're going to take a look at a crazy couple of weeks that are ahead for the series. We'll do that next. This is Inside ChampCar on the Racing Wire Podcast Network.
Inside ChampCar is a podcast that takes a deep dive into all things going on with the ChampCar Endurance Series. Hosted by veteran journalist, radio host, and racer Brian Bielanski and ChampCar's very own Bill Strong, we talk to drivers, team bosses, tech gurus, and series supporters. Episodes air every week in time for you to listen on your way to the track. Inside ChampCar is on the Racing Wire Podcast Network, found on Apple, Spotify, Google, and most popular podcasting apps.
And we are back. This is Inside ChampCar. I'm Brian Bielanski. Bill Boy Wonder is here with me. Mr. Strong.
I'm older than you.
I don't mean nothing. You have a youthful exuberance.
Oh, yeah. Call lots of THC. How's that?
I don't think we're supposed to talk about that, Bill.
Oh, yeah. No,
anyway.
I'm kidding.
What a great conversation. Justin's a good guy.
Yes, he is. Fun. Like I was telling you during our little break there, he's, there's a lot of people I meet on the road at ChampCar races, but I always remember Justin. And, good guy, always there to help people. Yeah. And just all around good guy, fun. Even though he rides motorcycles.
Oh, come on. Stop picking on motorcycle guys.
Well.
All right, so we've got 2 big races coming up. Not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
You're going to be...
You keep freaking me out every time you say this weekend. It's like, am I supposed to be on the road?
No. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend, especially when this one's going to air. So you've got Willow Springs and Autobahn. Yeah, it's funny. Autobahn came into existence just after I moved to Atlanta. So it's one of those races that when I grew up in the Chicago area, I'd have been at Autobahn all the time. Mm-hmm. And I've never gotten there before. So
I've never been there either.
Okay.
Yeah, I just, it wasn't one of those places I really wanted to go to.
Yeah.
It just wasn't within our range.
Right.
Let's just say we would do 1 or 2 long races a year, far away from I'm on the East Coast. So
sure.
We'd go to California, Road America, and, or even Utah, but I just didn't make it there. But people love it. And we have quite a few folks signed up for Autobahn. It's a 7+7 hour on June 17th through 19th with a track day right before that, HPD. So far, 32 cars signed up, and the best of the best from the Chicagoland area.
Of course.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
Then we head west.
Yep.
Actually, I'm headed west. I think Monday I leave, not
Okay.
this Monday, a week from today.
Well, when
Headed
this
out to Willow
broadcast
Springs.
airs, it will be this Monday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Willow Springs headed out, and
Big
June
Willow.
17th and 19th as well. We have a track day on the Friday. The California Grand Prix on Big Willow, because
Yes.
there's like 15 racetracks up there at Willow Springs.
There does feel
It's
like that. Yeah.
circle tracks, off-road courses, drift courses, mountain passes.
I was
mountain
up there. I do a lot there, obviously, because that's my backyard. But I was up there doing vintage racing, and on that weekend they had, I believe, 4 separate events happening at the exact same time.
Yeah.
They had motorcycles. I know what I found. You'd have to think against motorcycles, but they had motorcycles on the small track. We were on the big track. There was an autocross going on the up top track, and then on Sunday, I think they were doing a hill climb. So it was so
and
cool.
they also have up above by the restaurant there on Big Willow. There's a drift little area there that you can rent for a couple $100 a day. And,
I think that's
and
where
go
they were running
drifting.
the autocross.
Yeah. Big square track.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have actually a pretty good field.
Yeah.
10
wait.
cars.
Are you having an issue with your eye, Bill?
The Twitch just won't go away. We need more cars in California. They want us to race out there, but they don't want to go racing. I don't get it. None of us get it. We try.
I'm sorry.
They want us to convert our rules over to whatever series, and we just can't do that. We have a set of rules, and so. Well, we have 10
But you
cars
can
showing up.
come and take your car on that rule set and run in the EC class, right?
Yes, and anybody can go, and I'm even bringing EC trophies out. Dana, Jimmy's telling me today, going through stuff, and we're doing some laser engraving now on our trophies, and Jimmy's like, we don't have any EC cars out there. That's what he sounds, to me. But I said, no, man, we'll take some EC trophies out there because you never know.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna take them out there.
Cool.
And have some fun.
Nice.
So, yep. And
there's going to be a cool broadcast.
Yes, you and I are going to try do an experiment.
I know. I love experimenting.
Experiment. We're going to do a radio show with marching ants, and you have to watch. You're going to have to watch.
Yeah, no more. We're not going to tell them anymore because
Nope.
we want to. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be fun.
Yep. I've got Paulie working on commercials that use Braille. So.
We've just offended.
So when that race is over, I hop on my bicycle and head east again to Carolina Motorsports Park. We're doing the CMP full course, and we have a bazillion cars signed up for that one. It's not 10. We have 51 cars signed up. And
don't go too deep into the schedule because we're going to talk about that also earlier in the show. So, yeah.
Yes, I know. I'm remembering the past.
You're people are going to wonder, what are they? How did this? What is this? I don't know. What is this? One of these days we're going to have to
film this out of order.
Yeah. One of these days we're going to have to do an episode on how the episodes are made.
Oh, that would be good.
Tell people how the sausage is made.
Behind the scenes.
Yes. Inside ChampCar, behind the scenes.
Oh my God, it's just me picking my nose and you.
Inside ChampCar uncovered.
Yes.
Inside ChampCar unplugged.
Yeah.
I can come up with more kitschy DJ sounding stuff.
Yeah.
So, but
you get to see we're really just wearing long underwear on.
I'm just wearing my Nomex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
anyway.
You got to feel like a racer. You have to dress like a racer.
Exactly. All right, so we'll talk a lot more about this on the next show. We should have someone from maybe a Willow expert or an Autobahn expert on next week. See, I'm throwing this all at you.
We're going, let's look at doing somebody from Autobahn since we're going to be at Willow, you and I, and we're not going to have anybody. Well, Paulie might be at
that's kind of his backyard almost,
Autobahn.
isn't it?
Yeah. So he might be there, and then maybe we can phone in and do some stuff live.
Oh, cool.
You can give us some updates, maybe. I have a plug on my board that I can plug a phone in.
Nice.
Though my phone only has Bluetooth, so we'll see how that works.
Yeah, we'll work it all out. So
yeah, we'll work out the tech. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool. And maybe we can get somebody. We have a list of cars from Autobahn that we could probably find somebody to talk to us about.
Cool.
The track. So
cool. Well, we'll look at doing that next week. And is there anything else before we head out on this episode?
Nope.
Really? No. Okay.
Hey, just, thanks for listening to us again. And, it's fun.
There you go. That's going to do it for another episode. Inside ChampCar. If you like what you heard, subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes. It would also be great if you would share it on your social media channels. You can comment on the Facebook page, the ChampCar Facebook page. Unless it's a bad comment, then just go right to Bill Strong's page and leave it there. I'm Brian Bielanski. He is Bill Strong. You're listening to the Racing Wire Podcast Network. Have a good week.